So Jim Jordan has now officially lost his third vote to become Speaker of the House. It looks like he is not going to become Speaker of the House. So in the first round of voting, he was 20 votes short of becoming Speaker. That's a pretty big number. Now remember, Kevin McCarthy, I believe he was what? 5, 6, maybe at most 8 votes short of remaining Speaker. He held over 95% of the Republican caucus. It was only Gates and his little gaggle of idiots that kicked out McCarthy. So Jordan was the logical next step. First, Scalise tried to get it, and that didn't work. Then Jordan was the next logical step. Now, I thought if anybody was going to get it, it was going to be Jordan. Why? Because Jordan was a staunch defender of Kevin McCarthy, but he was also a mentor to Matt Gaetz, which I thought the fact that he would get Gaetz' approval, but also he defended McCarthy, would mean that the McCarthy faction and the Gaetz faction would come together and say, okay, we'll go with Jim Jordan. We don't hate this guy. But he's also a Freedom Caucus member. He also, supported January 6th and the insurrection. He's very, very far right. And it looks like, for personal reasons of people hating Matt Gaetz, but also for ideological reasons, Republicans in, purple districts, they were like, we're not going to vote for him. And apparently he's bad at playing the game of politics behind the scenes, shaking hands, kissing ass. He's good at being a conservative firebrand and going on conservative media and whipping up the base, but he's not good at the behind-the-scenes politics. So he lost his first vote. He was 20 votes short the first time. The second one, he was 22 votes short. So he actually lost ground, which is amazing. He moved in the wrong direction. And then get this. With his third vote, he was 25 votes short. So he keeps losing ground. And then to add insult to injury, after all of that, there was a closed-door meeting, and it was like an anonymous vote. And a majority of the Republican caucus said he shouldn't even be in the running for Speaker anymore. He should fully drop out. So they basically kicked his ass to the curb in a closed-door, anonymous vote. And so now they're going to have to go in a different direction. But look, that begs the question, what the hell are they going to do? Right? Look, I know it's said often, but in this case, it's absolutely true. The Republicans are in disarray. And the chickens are coming home to roost for being the Trump party. And so it looks like the path of least resistance at this point is to take McHenry, who's called the Speaker pro tempore, which just means he was second in command to Jordan, to McCarthy. With McCarthy gone, now he's like the default Speaker, even though he doesn't have all the full powers of the speakership. It looks like the next logical step would be just expand his powers to allow him to be the Speaker, right? And there were talks about, hey, let's extend his position as Speaker until January and then revisit it, maybe have a vote then. Now they might even be having conversations about scrap the January thing. Let's just make him Speaker, or let's just expand his powers, being the second in command and now by default the number one in command. So, I think if I had to guess right now, that's the most likely route, is that it's going to be McHenry by default, but that could go down in flames too, When they mentioned Scalise, I thought, oh, maybe he'll get it. He didn't get it. When they mentioned Jordan, I was like, well, it wouldn't make sense that he gets it. He didn't get it either. So, look, they're at each other's throats. There's been reporting internally that Republicans are absolutely ripping each other apart behind the scenes, yelling at each other, screaming, cursing. They can't agree on anything. And, look, it's an open door for Democrats too, right? Because Democrats can, if they're smart, they could try to chip away. Can you get 3 or 4 Republicans to leave the Republican Party and become Democrats? Can you make a deal with centrist Democrats and more moderate Republicans where you pick, a Republican to be Speaker of the House who's not an insurrectionist and who's from a very purple district? Can you find a way to spin this to your advantage? Well, the answer is yes, because no matter what the Democrats do, it's going to go to their advantage. Because they win if they sit back and do nothing and let the Republicans rip each other apart. And they win if they get involved and they use their leverage to get concessions to get a more moderate Republican Speaker. So, Republicans in disarray. It's kind of hilarious. I'm enjoying it immensely. Will it be McHenry? I guess we'll find out soon. But the final point I'll make is, look, we are, 30 days away now or something from the next government shutdown. And so you actually need somebody to be in that leadership role on the Republican side so you can start getting to work for a budget. And we're nowhere near that yet. They don't even have somebody who represents them, and they can't agree. So, we'll see what happens, but man, they're embarrassing at the moment.